got the incentive set now. We basically agreed on how we're going to reward validators. We need five validators, or at least pretty close to launch the network. Um, and then the big thing is documentation, and that's a good start. We've agreed on the 12-month vesting period. Something we'll have to still look into is how to create that vesting period, but I think if we can just line up validators, that will be a big step. And then the wallet, of course. I wonder, Saphir, do you want to reach out to Bloom and see if they would be open to launching, if there's an opportunity to somehow fork that wallet for TAN, and they would get incentives for that because they're basically creating a technical aspect or a DApp, as well as they could be a validator and get tokens for that. So maybe it's double tokens, and maybe that's enough to get them involved. TAN has a wallet, and if Blue would want to be a validator for incentive tokens. Um, and yeah, maybe we start there. Another aspect could we just simply fork Firefly, but man, who was the who was the little Indian guy? It was always his birthday. That was like the running joke. He actually originally made Firefly back when it was called Trinity, I believe. Um, I don't think he's with the IF anymore, is he? But I wonder if he'd want to get involved. Damn, what was his name? Raji? No, Rajiv. I'll figure it out. Maybe we check with Bloom first as a first option. If not, we can look at forking Firefly. Doesn't seem like it'd be too difficult. Um, will Tangle Pay support TAN? That's a good question. I need to ask Garrett that. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't, but you're saying as will they run will they run a validator node? No, just support it so we can have a mobile wallet. Oh, Tangle Pay. Okay, got it, got it, got it. Let's also see if they're going to run a validator node too. Also, will they integrate? Are they still running the Tangle Pay wallet? No. So, got it. Um, but SMR still works. Okay, we'll ask them. And for TAN tokens, would they integrate they also have the bridge. Okay. Ba-dum. All right, so we got wallet, validator nodes, bridge. Um, we've got Tangle Pay, Epoch Zero, uh, DLT Green, and Sooniverse as an option for validators. I think this gives us a good idea for the next week. And again, when we talk to them, let them know, hey, this ain't for free. This is for TAN tokens. Um, good. Anything else? I'm missing anything else? think that's pretty good. Okay, let's keep the incentive discussion going in the incentives channel. I'll try to go through these, finalize what we agreed on, and put them up into the approved planned action items. And then just going through our kind of previous meetings stuff. Sooniverse, we're going to talk to them. DLT Green, we're going to talk to them. Yeah, we could discuss, like, again, don't want to leave that vision statement from last week of, what kind of DApps, or again, I wouldn't say it's DApps of, but what is the vision of the network, right? Like, is it a fee one, feeless, data secure messaging protocol, which I think that's always been Shimmer. And then whatever's built on top of that, right, is whatever builds on top of that. Like, I don't see a vision as in, well, we only want DeFi, or we only want, gaming, or we only want NFT. I mean, I think the point of what we're really building is a underlying protocol that all things can be built on. But to say that, yeah, we want it all, exactly. Yeah, and that, but we have these incentives. We need things to do. We need to get a little ignition in that economy, that digital economy. So we need, things to do, such as gaming, NFT, whatever. And then the marketing concepts of VC through involvement. I like that, to kind of bring that up again when we're talking to people, running validators, getting active, creating GitHubs. It's like, look, you're the VC. You're the one getting in and getting a big percentage of the tokens. So if this thing takes off, you might not be a venture capitalist because you're not a multimillionaire, but you've got something just as valuable as money, and that is time, some experience, and an effort to be able to help build this thing. And then we got JIGL, Jiggle. We were going to do that. That's into the wallet. Hedgie, since the TAN website is up, is it okay if I mention it? And oh yeah, of course. I mean, by all means. We're kind of covering that. Focus, DApps, we kind of that. Can we give incentives? Do bear member? We're kind of discussed that. So we agreed on this and bridge. So we can take that out. Let's expand the marketing concept, VC2 involvement. That's actually doubled up. What's TAN going to be? Yeah, maybe and Saphir, if you kind of want to work on the marketing, the kind of narrative aspect of the big thing, you're great at that. You can kind of take that and start running with that. And then Jiggle is at the TAN GitHub. The GitHub's going to be big. So I'll really chase up Garrett on that and see if we can get that. So once we get that set up, the GitHub, that's going to involve the validator setup, everything. Great things, as a continuation of IOTA's original vision. It is. I mean, I think that's the idea of what we're all agreeing to, is that the main vision is we want a feeless network that doesn't put barriers of entry and secures data points. And this is something that's extremely needed, that no one's really done yet. And we want to bring that to fruition. Just waiting on Lion Alpha here. Any time frame for when the feeless? Yeah, I mean, this is all public. Nothing's, not public. I think, refining a good marketing narrative, that's something that Saphir is going to work on, as in a big picture. Again, like, maybe we don't call them coordinators, we call them something else. Kind of take that vision and really put it into a sort of an elevator pitch. So yeah, we can wait a little bit. I think maybe, I mean, you can go public. Anyone can go public. No, there's no boundaries not to. But I think what might be good is to make sure that we actually have validators lined up. If the validators are lined up, this thing's going to launch. There's no doubt about that. We're going to do the airdrop. All the other stuff is arbitrary, creating a vesting 1 year thing, etc. But if we don't get people to run as validators, it's going to be really difficult, because then we're only going to have one validator and people are just going to go, it's centralized. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Bill Post is right. I mean, and that's what Garrett said. It's already running. The TAN network's running. Anyone can build on it. It's just that it's a single coordinator. No one has tokens. and etc. So, but in my mind, I would say let's get the validators lined up, and then, then we can really show. Because again, in some of these early times, you also don't. A narrative can go very quickly, negatively, if people just say, "Oh, it's just centralized," and it's so. But we want to show that the vision is this is being built by the community from the ground up, totally transparently, with everyone. And just if anyone's interested, Lion Alpha put in a link to a article that was from IOTA 2.0 to rebase on comparative analysis of decentralization scalability suitability for IOTA applications. So it will be interesting. And that link was up there in the chat a little bit. But cool. All right. I'm just responding to something. It's a recent paper published comparing IOTA Stardust rebase. Cool. All right, so I think we got a lot to cover the next week. I think we got a big step closer of now we know basically how many rewards. I just want to point out, like, nothing's set in stone, right? Like, sitting there and saying, hey, we're going to give this much for marketing, this much for governance. This is all fluid, and it should be agile over the next, 6 months to just the point is, are we getting our goals met? Is the network able to launch? Can we get people to become validators? Can we get people to write the technical documentation? Can we get people to create marketing narratives? Can we get people to put the hours in that's going to create a very, extended foundational governance system, et cetera, et cetera. So if we need to adjust things, we'll discuss that in these meetings and make adjustments. But, hopefully what we've got right now can get some action taken and get things off the ground. So with that, if there's nothing else, we will talk to everyone next week. Thank you for coming as always. Really appreciate it.